In the early 2000s, Tomas Scheckter was a rising star in IndyCar. In his rookie year in 2002, he won at Michigan, but did not complete the season due to conflicts with team owner Eddie Cheever. For 2003, Scheckter joined Chip Ganassi Racing and finished 7th in points with a best finish of 3rd at Michigan. However, teammate Scott Dixon won 3 races in the championship and Scheckter was released by the team. Despite this, Scheckter was hired by Panther Racing for the 2004 season. Perhaps this would be the change Scheckter needed to become a championship contender, as the team had won the 2001 and 2002 championships with Sam Hornish Jr., and they were also Chevrolet's premier team in IndyCar.
Back at Phoenix, yellow is out now, and this time pretty serious accident, at least a big accident. All drivers now, with Robbie Buell in the background climbing out of the car, are okay. Tomas Scheckter is involved, and also Dario Franchitti. There he is. They're all walking around, and there was what appeared to be some sort of debris on the backstretch, and then suddenly this accident erupted. So we're looking to make sure we understand exactly what it was, Scott. And we'll go back and try to take a look at it. We'll first look at regular speed. There's Buell in trouble.
Broke loose in the middle of 3 and 4. Some debris on the racetrack.
Watch this, because here comes Scheckter and Franchitti.
You know, and as a driver, I can tell you, it is loud in the race car when you impact the wall. Actually, there you go.
Well, like Franchitti didn't see Scheckter slow.
Absolutely. Maybe there's already a yellow out. The drivers get to hear it by 3 different ways: by watching the lights, the flags, or their onboard lights.
Okay, Schecter's already slowed. Here comes Franchitti. Ooh!
So Franchitti was not aware that there was a yellow, was not aware there was an accident, did not hear from his spotter, or did not hear from anybody on his team, and watching the dash lights. Now, if you recall, back in Nazareth last year, it was actually Schecter's turn to take out Kanaan in the same sort of situation.
I put the blame for that accident at the feet of the spotter for Dario Franchitti. He should have been on the radio and just hollering yellow, 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 and whoa, whoa, whoa.
Todd, what's the story on Tomas Scheckter?
Well, here with Tomas Scheckter as he just emerged from the medical center. Thomas, what happened out there? Take us through your thoughts.
Unfortunately, I just got hit from behind and slowed down for the yellow. My spotter called the yellow. Obviously, maybe Dario spotted and called it, or he didn't slow down. I got hit up the back. Unfortunate, but that's the way it goes sometimes.
Since this is the last race for the current engine package, can you talk a little bit about the new engine package and how it's going to perform on a high-bank, high-speed track like here at Texas?
Well, you know, interestingly enough, I don't think that they're going to lose a whole lot of speed, because they expect that with a half a liter and a smaller engine, I would think that you would end up losing about 100 horsepower. Right now, we're watching Tomas Schecter's car being pushed back, my old Panther Racing mount, and I think they had some gearbox problems, maybe telling us a little bit why he wasn't up to speed. But the engine package will start with a 3-liter at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. They already have figured, the engineers, that they've already gained maybe 15 horsepower back from the 100 that they lost. So,
well, they had a pretty good test.
Well, here's the story with Tomas Scheckter. He was just in moments ago, got 4 new tires, but he just had to come back in. He missed his mark on the last pit. They got no fuel in his car, no fuel. He was off mark, so he just came back in, got back out in 7 seconds.
Schecter's on the pit road.
Up with the steering. Steering's loose, and then the
And here's the reason why. Whoa. Okay. That's going to require some repair.
watch right there.
Yeah.
Good thing that Scheckter didn't end up into the wall.
That's maybe the most dangerous thing that can happen in open wheel racing right there.
I tell you, that was a scary one. You know, it took a lot of skill and car control, both on Thomas and Scott's behalf, not to make that turn into a complete disaster. But obviously, Thomas had some damage to the steering wheel there because he came into the pits. But that was a heart-stopping moment, I think.
You know, we talked about earlier on the pressure going on Panther right now with the Pennzoil car, because Pennzoil's just down the road. Maybe a move on the outside was a little costly for Thomas.
Scheckter back rolling already. You saw that. Tomas Scheckter has finally climbed out of the number 4 car. So he adds his name to that of Carpenter, and Foyt the fourth as being out. of the Bombardier 500.
Yeah, obviously that touch with Dixon put more damage than they were comfortable running with, and then, you know, it's unfortunate, but there you go.
He also got caught up in that last accident, ended up running over some debris at the same time, so he just has no luck at Texas Motor Speedway, that guy.
After 5 races, Scheckter had qualified in the top 10 for 4 races with a best start of 3rd at the season opener at Homestead. Schechter's best finish was 5th place, also at Homestead. However, he had no other top 10 finishes and was 14th place in points.
Target fastest lap of the day. Tomas Scheckter at 165 miles an hour. Well, that pretty much ended that one for Hornick. The question will also be Scheckter. Did he sustain any damage? Just about to tell you, Scheckter had the fastest lap of the day thus far. And
You okay there? Can you keep running or not? I feel fine.
Actually, all those wheels are going the right direction there, Paul. I would say that a bump start, go in the pits, have a look at the car.
Get it going if you can.
He might just be ready to go off and continue racing.
yeah, well, and remember at Phoenix, he had not a similar incident, but it ended up sliding up against the wall, but they got it back into action. Back at Richmond International Raceway, the caution lights just come on again. This time it's Dario Franchitti and Mark Taylor. Taylor was 4 laps behind the race. Franchitti trying to catch up to the front. He was in a pretty good battle up at the front of the field. Rice, Kanan, Herta, Franchitti all together. And now Franchitti frustrated as Tomas Schechter's car, they're pulling the...
Yeah, the left front wheel, Paul, is definitely been hit in that accident. You can see how damaged it is as he's getting out of the car. Here we go right now. See, it's the right front, left rear touching, as we've seen before. And when a car's not working well, like Taylor had as he hit the safer barrier there on the high side, you come in high and you try to get down to that low section by the yellow line, down by the apex, when your car is not working. You can see the safer barrier actually there, that corrugated foam actually take the hit there.
And it looked like what happened to Scheckter is he got up into Fernandez after he came through the accident site.
Diving down and just taking up too much room there. His spotter's got to be telling him that there's more people behind.
Here's Scheckter. Accident occurs up ahead.
Yep. And he just...
Yeah. So it's kind of hard to believe that Fernandez's car is in good shape.
And welcome back to Richmond, Virginia. I'm with Tomas Scheckter, who's having a great drive tonight. Great race for Panther Racing. What happened out there?
Well, he just got caught in a yellow, and some 2 cars touched each other, and I was on the brakes and hit someone. Another unfortunate result. I have to thank Pennzoil and Chevrolet. They really needed a good result, and we looked like we had the car to do it, but, you know, we'll come back next race.
Real quick, take us back to what happened with you and Hornish.
We were going side by, we're having a great race, going side by side, inside, outside, and we were passing each other. And then I think one of the times he went around the outside, I thought I was right down on the yellow line. We touched. That's what happens when you race that close, you know, a little bit of rubbing.
All right. Tough break for Panther Racing, losing 2 cars on 1 lap. And Doc Punch?
Don't forget after, Scheckter goes into the wall just as we come back, brings the yellow out. Drifted right up into the wall. Tomas Scheckter. Well, we talked about the fact that it gets slicker the closer you get to the wall. Tomas Scheckter lost it during practice, did a quick spin, saved the car. We saw the quick move by the 13 car come down on the inside of a Mark Taylor, and then all of a sudden it was just a gentle nudge and then slammed the wall.
And you don't get much time to retrieve or actually collect the car, Paul, because of the surface, not much grip, and certainly once you're up in those marbles, you're along for the ride.
Well, that alone shows you what a miserable year it's been for Tomas Scheckter.
But he's been fast. Anytime he's got up to the front, some brilliant moves, some great driving, but absolutely no luck. Now just running a little bit high through the D-shaped oval right now. Soon as the 13 car of Taylor comes down, he leaves him high. He's actually on those rubber marbles that we talked about, which is just almost the cheese grating of the tires coming off. The rubber itself coming off. See how slow he is? He just can't turn. You can't do anything about it. We talked about crash damage with Cheever's team. These guys told me just today that they're already up to about $500,000 worth of crash damage with this team so far this year.
Jamie Little.
You guys just can't find a break. You're either running right up there, or you guys just DNF. What happened there?
Well, I don't know. It looks to me, I haven't seen the replay, but it sounds to me like he just got out on the high groove, and there's really no grip out there. So once you get out there, you're just kind of holding on. And we've been making some adjustments with the cars, and I think those adjustments were made when we were running up front. It's made it a little bit harder to run in the back, so it's a little difficult. We've had 3 good years, you know, and now all our bad luck's kind of hitting us in 2004.
Do you think that's driver error? Is that the car? It seemed like during the race he was taking it high the whole time, worrying you guys a little bit.
Well, Thomas has done a great job for us all year. I don't think, you know, he's trying everything he can to get that car back up front. We had the leaders chasing us from behind. We had to go forward, so he was doing the best he could.
All right, Doug. Well, the good news is we're only halfway through. There's 8 races to go. Guys?
Well, and the IRL officials have cautioned the drivers, if the leaders are coming up on you, get out of the way. So Thomas may just have been sensing that and trying to get out of the way. Of course, you step too far to the right, it's a big problem.
Well, difficult. I'm sure if he replays that back in his mind right now, he might not do the same type of move and leave just a little bit too much room. But like you say, once you're up there and you're out of that groove, if your car's not working very well, sounds like maybe theirs was not, you don't have that opportunity to drag it down low and stay in the low groove.
Jerry Punch, what's going on with Tomas Scheckter?
Oh, we told you that was jumping out of gear in 5th gear and revving the engine in the corners, and he said a moment ago the temperature in the gearbox was just going up and it would not survive past lap 100. So they had no choice but to pit the Pennzoil Panther machine and make a total gearbox change, which is exactly what's happening here. They get a break because the yellow, that means they will lose fewer laps on the racetrack.
And that's some seriously hot work there.
And what you see the guy doing in the blue right there is he's scooping some stuff out of the gearbox. That probably tells you that a gear broke because he's actually cleaning it out before they can put the replacement back in.
And guys, we told you that Tomas Scheckter was having some gearbox complaints, and Thomas is climbing out of the car. And was that what it was, Thomas? The gearbox went away?
Yeah, it was a 4th, 5th gear, and that's when, you know, we had such a good car. We were really moving forward, and then you could see me dropping back. It kept on hitting neutral every time I was going into the corner, so the car would get really loose going in, and then I would get on and it would rev right up, and then it would hit the gear again. So it's unfortunate for everybody. Each time we seem like we've got a really good car, and it's a great driver's track. We seem to end up with something wrong, and we got to work at this. We got to sort it out, and I don't know. Maybe I got to start throwing some bones and on the floor and see what it comes up with. Try something else. I don't know what to try. I've tried all my tricks and nothing's worked, so we'll see.
Nothing but bad luck for the Pennzoil Panther team, guys.
Yeah, no luck at all this year.
No, and a tough day today for Tomas Scheckter. His mom had flown in, and it was here and actually voted for Thomas out on the midway as most popular driver in the ongoing balloting. So his mom came here to watch him race today.
Well, short day for Tomas Scheckter. The only car out.
Here come your leaders. Here comes Tomas Scheckter. Buddy Rice. Oh! Scheckter again has troubles. He runs over a tire.
And ran over a crew member as well. And that could finish Tomas Scheckter, depending on what damage may have been done to that left front. You see the wing is askew. They'll have to replace the nose. You talk about the luck that this kid has had this year. He's had no luck. It's all been bad.
Everything that's happened has gone wrong. And this is just another example of it. Looked like somebody laid a tire out there. He just ran over it as he came in. Oh, they're really mad. You can see them yelling, and whoever's on the other side of the pits up there, boy, they hot at them.
Whose tire was it he hit?
I don't know, but this is virtually taking him out of the race. What a terrible, terrible break for Panther Racing and for Tomas Scheckter. Now you can see these guys are falling all over themselves. They're all discombobulated, all out of whack, trying to get. They're going to lose a couple of laps here. Just terrible. Wow, what a tough break for Tomas Scheckter, though. He lost 2 laps in there with all that monkey motion going on.
Well, see, one of the crew members was hit when he came in.
Yeah, they're tending to him right now.
Let's take a look at what happened, Larry, when Tomas Scheckter made his pit stop. You're on board. All right, now.
It looked like he ran over a tire back there. There you can see the crew member down there. That he ran over his leg.
I'd like to see that again if at all possible.
He had some.
Oh, here it comes again.
Let's take a look down here as he goes in.
He got his.
Oh, they told Takagi to go out, and Takagi pulled right out into him. You know, it's their responsibility to watch for the cars coming in. Takagi pulled right out, ran right into the left rear. Absolutely nothing that Scheckter did wrong. You can see the crew member's in a lot of pain there. He got his leg run into pretty good. Got pinned between the wall and the
race
tire.
car. Yeah.
So that's not a good thing.
And again, we talked early in the broadcast, Larry, about all the situations that Tomas Scheckter has been in that were of no fault of his. And then once again today, he's in the wrong spot at the wrong time. So it puts him really out of contention to this afternoon. Now Scheckter needs some help. Scheckter needs somebody to stick up in behind him and help push him on by Kanaan to get his lap back. But the laps are dwindling down. 46 laps to go as they cross the start-finish line.
Well, and Schechter's going to have to make a pit stop before long. He's run just about as long as he can. He never got back on the.
He's gone 47 laps.
He's just gone just about as long as he can go, and he's going to have to drop in and make a pit stop here shortly.
He's hopeful. There he goes. Yep, you're right. Whoa, he may be out of fuel because that's the backstretch.
Yep, he ran out of fuel. They ran him out of fuel again. They did that one other time this year.
He's trying to slosh enough fuel in the pickup to get him back to the pit area.
Yeah. Well, we know the Chevrolets can't run 47 laps here anyway. We know he can't run 48 laps. Yeah.
He ran 47.
Yeah, he ran 47. Tough break for him. I mean, he did everything he could do. I mean, he did everything in his power to get that thing back up there and challenge to win this race. It just wasn't going to be in the cards here tonight. This is going to be a kind of a lucky break for everybody else because they're going to get the yellow flag that they need for their final pit stop. Yep. Tough break for him, good break for everybody else because there won't be any more green flag laps. After this, they'll be able to go to the end.
So the fourth yellow of the afternoon here on lap 156. And that is for a toe-in on the Pennzoil Panther number 4 of Tomas Scheckter, who has had a tough afternoon here at Michigan.
10 races through the season, and Scheckter now had 8 top 10 starts, but he had no additional top 10 finishes. Additionally, he had only been running at the finish of just 5 races and was ranked 16th in points.
Tomas Scheckter on the pit road. Todd Harris.
Tomas Scheckter coming in a very valuable position right here. He does not want to get up, but he's going in first. They say no major changes. Since about the 120 lap mark, he has been running flawless. The car has been fantastic, and this is exactly what Team Pennzoil and Chevrolet was looking for the South African. With his dad and brother looking on, Tomas Scheckter is looking to do something special. And the fuel valve stuck. The fuel valve stuck. All kinds of problems down here. He has got the fuel valve still stuck in his car. No fire, though, in the pit of Tomas Scheckter. They got it out clean and prevented the water, but I'm standing right behind him. A scary time for Tomas Scheckter, and the fuel valve is still in the car.
Todd, they go yellow. He may have a fire. He's trying desperately to get out of that car. Remember, the fuel is methanol. It burns clean. You can't see it. And Tomas Scheckter wisely drops and rolls to get any fire he may have out. You can see the remnants of the hose hanging off the back of the car. Safety team on the scene already, but the caution comes out, and that's going to play into the hands once these pits get open of everybody else in the field and be so costly for Scheckter.
We have seen mistakes with this team, Paul, that you have not seen in many years, even when I drove with them. There's just a lot of pressure on this team right now to perform. They're getting it almost done, but it's just the bad luck is continuing to follow them.
They're staying back off of that car. They're apparently a little apprehensive about what may be burning there, though it looks like whatever it was has gone out. Schechter's got help there with him. Looking at his suit to see if there's any discoloration that might indicate that he was in a fire situation for any length of time, and I don't notice it, but obviously he came rocketing out of that car. That's one of our cameramen, Dan Marinello, who apparently got sprayed when that came over. Todd Harris. Todd, you're right there. Is Dan all right?
Well, I'll tell you what, he's the toughest cameraman in the business. Dan Marinello got the splash. You were on the front and I was on the back end. You probably saw the same thing with the valve not popping out. The fuel was still flowing.
That's exactly what I saw. It flowed right up, hit a few other cameramen other than myself. The crew was great, got to me with water. Everything is fine.
He's the man, Dan Marinello. That's why I got the best in the business. Back up to you, Paul.
As long as he leaves your sunglasses on, he is. This is Schechter's stop. Now watch the two guys leaning over the car. They tried to keep it stopped. That's fuel that just sprayed all over the pit. Now watch it. This is from our onboard camera. starts to roll. What broke off looks to be the return, but still there's fuel there. And there's the fire. There's the fire.
This is the return right there, and that's actually what broke. Now he's probably feeling the heat, feeling himself on fire. Smartly turns the car off. You can see the heat coming off. He wants to get out. Got 3 layers of protection right now, guys. It's good for about 45 seconds. He's feeling the heat. He's going to roll over and get rid of the flames. Now, right now, this is what we need to watch to see if he gets waved out by the right front man. Whether Thomas went on his own, the right front man is telling him stop, stop, stop. No, Thomas starts to leave on his own. He did not get waved out. And that is an error, mostly on the driver.
In the past, though, Scott, there's always been, now and again, a problem with the clutch with the cars. They'll tend to creep. Remember back in the kart days, one of the things that would happen is they'd drop him and actually start to rev up the engine and try and get an advantage. Now,
well, Tomas Scheckter, you saw the fire coming out of the pits. Todd, how is he?
Well, Tomas Scheckter was running in first when he came in the pit. Pennzoil Chevrolet was running so great. Your car, take us what happened in your perspective.
Well, I just came in and we had a problem with the clutch, and as soon as they dropped the car, I engaged in it first. The car started slipping. Eventually, they let me go and took some of the fuel hose with me, and just half the car was on fire, and I had trouble breathing, and just jumped out and made sure I was on fire. You never know.
Was the car, or you ever inflamed, or any Gulf flames on there?
Well, I went out, and all of a sudden I started breathing in these heavy fumes, and I felt myself wet. Obviously, it was probably full of methanol, so I wasn't taking a chance. I just made sure I stopped the car, jumped out, and made sure that I was not on fire.
The good news is you're okay, but not the best day for you.
Well, we'll keep at it. Pennzoil and Chevrolet have done some hard work. Hopefully, we'll come back next week with something a little bit better.
Thank you, Thomas. Back up to you, Paul.
And now Scheckter back on the pit road. Fernandez in fourth, out in second. Todd.
What they're saying is when he pulled out, Tomas Scheckter, when he pulled out, he broke his half shaft. So once again, the Chevrolet Pennzoil has been snake bitten.
Exactly. Unbelievable. I'm surprised, though, if it's broken, that he got all the way around without any damage to the car.
Well, you know, the transmission, we've had a problem with that earlier before this year where they ended up having the problems inside the gearbox. So right now, these guys are not very anxious to get working on this race car. Tells you they know that it is terminal. And as a driver, you know when something has gone wrong, you can report back. And if he has broken a half shaft, you would just coast into the pit like he did. These guys are putting the cool cloths on the bodywork because the bodywork is so hard that tells you the day is done for these guys.
Well, again, the observer's report is that there may actually be parts from the half shaft assembly out on the racetrack, as Tomas Scheckter has got to wonder what he can do now.
Let's go back now. Look to the right side of your screen on the left rear tire. It's not spinning, Scott.
Absolutely. As you say, the right is spinning. You can see the smoke coming off that jack, and the left one is not really moving that much. Maybe there was a problem even before we went to exit the pit.
CV joint, some sort of power disconnect there.
Guys, they said he broke the left side, and that was the problem. You were exactly right, Scott and Jack. The right side not spinning. He broke inside the left, and that was the problem.
You guys are on top of it. Let's go back down to Todd.
Well, we're trying to get in here with Tomas Scheckter, and right now he is watching it on videotape exactly what happened. I think he's as surprised as anyone else because he was driving, and the way it was going, he thought everything was just fine, and then it broke loose. Thomas, what exactly happened, and what was your indication that something was wrong?
Well, I just came out the pits and the drive shaft broke, so the engine was revving and it's pulling to one side. So again, another weekend, but I have to thank Chevrolet Pennzoil. You know, put a lot of hard work in, and we just have to carry on working hard to see if we can get a next race.
We just talked to your trainer, Chris Carmichael. He said you're probably one of the most fittest racers on the planet. What is the reason for all these snake bites? It's just unbelievable.
I'm not sure, and maybe I can spend some time with the guys at Carmichael and they can rub off some of that Lance luck on me, and hopefully we can get it together next couple of races.
All right, wish you best luck. We'll see you next week.
Yeah,
Paul?
The difference between an average man and a guy like Thomas or Kanaan or anyone, one of attitude. He's already figured out how to move on and go to the next challenge rather than doting on that just completed. And that's Lazier.
I think it's okay.
They're also saying Schecter's got a problem. So two cars. For a moment there, we weren't sure if Scheckter was going to get it stopped before he got to Lazier. Whoa.
With Scheckter clapping his hands like that, it's almost like nice job to the other driver. We'll have to see
yelling at them with the way he was driving.
Some observers think that
out there? Are you going to be able to stay out?
this might have been caused in part by Vitor Mira. We'll take a look at a replay and see if we can figure it out. Watch Jock and Scheckter talking together, and they're not happy with each other. Uh-oh. Oh, here it is, Scott.
Thomas is getting a draft right now. A little bit of movement down, coming down on Mira. The car's getting very close. There we go. A little bit of a bump. You know something? And Thomas just followed Lazier up into the gray. Ended up getting into the gray himself. Probably thought they were both going to touch and really had nowhere to go with this. But here you go. Mira's just going off the turn, moving up a little bit. The right rear tire touches the left front of Lazier's, pushes Lazier up into the wall, and he just grazes the wall, lost control of the car. And Scheckter himself actually really has no course on either one of these guys here. Now you would want to roll off the throttle if you see these guys are going to touch, start to get down the lower side of the racetrack, but he's already up into this gray area here, Paul, and there's absolutely no grip up there in that gray.
But with Vitor Mira, he was alongside and ahead of the cockpit of Jacques Lazier's car.
You know, that is more like a racing incident. Jacques probably could have given him a little bit more room coming off the turn. Vitor obviously is going to move himself up.
Now, Panther Racing, 2 cars out. The only 2 cars in the team. Jamie Little?
Well, it's the 8th DNF for Tomas Scheckter. It was going really well for you. Tell us, though, what happened.
There was just a lot of wheel banging. I'm not surprised that it didn't happen before, and 2 guys in front of me were getting pretty tough, and I think, I don't want to blame anybody, but I like to look at the onboard footage, but it looked just Lazier touched Mira, and once I got up in the dirty air, there was nothing I could do. I just followed him all the way up.
I know earlier today in the drivers' meeting, you guys were warned not to go 3 wide, and you were out there going 3 wide, but it's tough not to, right?
Well, when we had to change an engine for qualifying, so 20 seconds, so I had a lot of work to do, and that's the way you have to get by people, is go 3 wide, and I just have to thank Chevrolet and Pennzoil and, you know, apologize, and, you know, hopefully we'll get it back together for the last 2 races.
All right, Tomas Scheckter, we'll see him back in California and Fontana. Guys?
Yeah, hey, Jamie Little, the plan in the Panther team was to do some team changes to improve their luck. What happened?
Well, Paul, we're trying to get the story right now. Tomas Scheckter, very frustrated. I guess we're getting ready for pits right now. The guys are on their way in. Todd?
Oh!
Thomas Enge and Tomas Scheckter.
Big accident.
That one was coming off of turn 4.
Pretty hard smack with the wall. Fernandez was shown as the leader at the line.
And this may be the end of the race.
As the yellow came out, exactly.
That is a lot of damage on that yellow Pennzoil car, guys.
Well, Tomas Scheckter is okay. Tomas Enge from the Czech Republic in his first race ends it with a crash against the wall. Look on top of the Delphi safety team there, that little bump. They now have a camera system, helps the medical team keep track of what happens once they go to the rescue point. Whoa, that was just a big loss.
Tomas Scheckter, the yellow car, with Tomas Enge in the front. Tomas Enge just got completely loose. The car swapped ends on him. Tomas Scheckter was just a passenger in this, guys. He had absolutely nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go, for sure.
Probably pushing that brake pedal through the forward bulkhead, though, trying to get it stopped.
Scheckter knows that he is driving today, racing for a ride next year. Mira there on the inside has that ride secure for next year with Ray Hall Letterman Racing. Obviously, the Penske drivers are set for next year.
Yeah, so, oh, look at
What's
this.
the problem there?
I think he had to get out of the throttle. No, he has
a problem. He has a problem.
The engine let go.
Drove that thing as hard as he could. And he was very lucky not to get tagged from behind then, as he had to get off the racetrack, and the other guys running at that speed, well over 200 miles an hour, were able to get around him.
The engine sounded like it was still running, but
well, you see the spray coming off the back of that thing, and we do have a yellow, our second yellow of the afternoon.
yeah, he's going to get out of there. Whatever it was fatal, and he just stopped the car and got out. It looks like the engine may have a
fire back there.
It might be on fire.
You know, he had that fire earlier this season as he pulled the refueling hose off the tank. So the safety crew right there to help him climb out. He's really in no harm's way now, trying to unfasten the radio.
Get everything unhooked and get out of there. There's so many gizmos, the radios, the belts, and all that stuff have to be unhooked. Tough break for Tomas Scheckter. He was having a great run, as he has had the last 2 or 3 times out.
So is this the last time we'll see him in the Pennzoil color scheme?
I don't know. To me, the things that have happened to this Pennzoil Panther team have not been Tomas Scheckter's fault. I don't think any of the crashes this year have been a result of his driving. I think the only thing you can blame him for is that one pit incident. He claims that something went wrong with the clutch, but other than that, you know, he's been running up front. He's done his part as far as getting that team to the front of the pack.
For 2004, Scheckter's best start was third at Homestead, and his best finish was 5th place at the same race. This was his only top 10 finish of the season. In fact, it was Scheckter's only lead lap finish of the season. He led 32 laps during the 2004 season, which he ended ranked 19th place in the point standings with 230 points. Scheckter was the lowest ranked IndyCar driver in 2004 who started all 16 races. For just $1, you can become a patron of me, Ryan Holman, and get your name in the credits of one of my videos. Just go to patreon.com/Ryan_Holman. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at RealRyanHolman.